Oh my God.
Exactly.
You know, that was something I've been meaning to do, and I never got a chance to do it. And what was to bring some case law with regards. There's tons of case law. Well, in fact, the Supreme Court have ruled repeatedly
Yep.
that an arrest is an assault.
Yes.
That police officers technically are peace officers. So, you know, uh, and so therefore that one had a right to defend themselves just as if this was an unknown assailant to them to defend themselves. And the Supreme Court have many case laws I mean, tons of it. Um, I thought I had it readily available because I can share some of those case laws so people can go and look it up themselves. But if one have access to Pacer, all you need to do is so those of you who know how to search case law, you put in for keywords, Supreme Court opinion on arrests, back in the 80s and the 90s. And I think from my understanding from a judge, the last time they spoke about that was, I want to say in 92, because what was happening was that the American people weren't supporting them and by saying and making it, using that as part of their case defense. They went in there and argued, well, I was just coming out of my car instead of using the opinions of the courts, the high court, mind you, that clearly says an arrest in America was illegal, always were. And it had I think the earliest case were somewhere back in 18. If it's back in 1800s, then if it was illegal then, it is very much illegal today.
Right. They can't pass laws to legalize it.
Exactly.
It's built into the framework.
Well, first and foremost, you can't destroy your foundation. How do you do that?
Right.
I've often said, when you have a foundation, I mean, just like when you bulldoze in a home, do you bulldoze the foundation? How is any of us going to stand if you bulldoze in the foundation? You can never destroy the foundation. Right. So, as much as that they want everyone to believe that, you cannot. First in line is first in time. Right. Just look at your house. For heaven's sakes, we're all sitting. We're not levitating here.
Exactly, we're all
proud underneath.
Oh, okay. So while we're talking about this arrest situation, let's just look at the traffic stops that are taking place everywhere now. How are you best going to handle that? Because what is happening, I mean, people are posting their
my class. You'd be so amazed how you're going to get out of that. I can't give it to you for free. That's part of, that's part of educating you about everything else. Take the class. You'll see how you can get out of it. And
I can actually.
3 days. Just take the class.
I can back her up on that one. I did take the class, and I do know the special recipe. So, and everybody will have that special recipe when they show up at Debra's place. So it's
you've got to. Yeah, go ahead.
When is that class?
Oh, I'm glad someone asked. Because I'm telling you, I'm booked solid for the month of October.
Is there a website with your schedule or a way that they could get?
Yes, I'm glad you asked. We got that up and running and percolating. So, and they're courtesy of Julian, Paris, and Josh. They work enormously fast. I mean, they said, Deb, we got to get you out there quickly so people can get enrolled so I can get excited about these classes. So anyways, the website for the classes, she told me specifically to say, is protrustacademy.com. That's where you go and you sign up for the classes. That's where you go if you want more information. That's where you go to submit your emails, and if you have any comments or if you have any issues. Since the YouTube went out, so many people have called me, and many of them are insiders that are in now and that were. and some of the information that has been given to me, I was hoping that I can got enough to decipher it. I right now have to research some of it. Like for instance, the federal lien that everyone is losing their property over this federal lien, which is only $10. So let me be the first to tell you, your property don't have a value of 1.2 or 3 or 4 million dollars. Those are back penalties and fees and interest and compound interest from $10. Okay, people in America is losing their homes over $10. And when I got the paperwork on it, I just thought, my goodness, these guys are good and clever. For them to disguise that, only for someone to come along to tell me, oh, Deborah, it's a military lien. I said, what? It's a military lien? She says, oh, yeah, under the War Powers Act. And I thought, you're kidding me.
What Rod was saying, War Powers Act, military lien. Yep.
So I thought, okay, that's the icing on this cake. So I'm going to make a special trip next week to Tennessee and look up those records for myself. But it's incredible that the layers here. I say, my God, next thing you know, we'll know that these are galactical liens. I mean, they just make up as they go along here. I mean, so where do these people stop?
Right. The fraud is so big. How can we even know what they're not showing us behind the curtain?
Exactly. Right. Exactly. So I have ongoing researchers. I have people that I work with very closely. And we do ongoing researches and investigations into a lot of this matter so that I can bring it to you front and center. But I need to dissect it so in a way that I can convey it to you, that everyone can fully grasp what is happening and how can we exit it. Okay, so we will be looking into that. But I do have the paperwork for those that wish to proceed with paying off this excise tax, and if they can choose to do so, I can provide them the paperwork, or if they wish to hire my services to do that for them, then we can. It's amazing because at the end, when they do file for the paperwork and they do the deed of acknowledgement, they actually have them to take an oath. The landowner. You're not a homeowner. You're really a tenant from their perspective and their paperwork. I mean, so we have to say what it is. We have to stop saying we're homeowners, because you're not. You never were. Okay. So we have to begin to start using the verbiage that is correct and not continue to be deceived on a daily basis. You are not a homeowner. Let's identify what you are at this point. You are a tenant. Okay. Just having a leasing agreement with the banks. And until that changes, when you go and pay off this $10 or $20, depending on which state, they actually make you an oath for you to acknowledge you was once a debtor. Amazing.
Wow, the gall of them.
Yes. And then they declare you sovereign, man or woman on the land. You are now the true landlord.
Wow, I like that. And then you can go ahead and make your manor roll under your own trust.
That's right. That's absolutely. And you want to do everything you can to lean that baby out, because we call it like a dangling.
Yep.
Once it's free and clear, it's dangling. So someone else is going to come along and make a false claim on it. So what you have to do is prevent that from happening. And this is where the trust come in, and this is why I'm pushing the trust. Now, not everyone will qualify for that, because there is some stiff stipulation as far as to getting into this particular trust, which is an irrevocable trust.
Right.
But I can possibly do a living trust until one can graduate into an irrevocable trust, which has all the finite protection they need, all the various levels of protection that will afford one. And when you're able to do that, coupled with your status and standing, you exit out the matrix, you're able to move about commerce that you have to have the ability to navigate. You're going to have a new ship on the water.